And welcome to Talking Hawks, the biggest fan live stream for the Hawks around the world, connecting fans. We love intelligent conversation. Thanks for joining us tonight. We want to talk about the Hawks, the footy. Talk about the passion that's going on. You know, we're all over the place in COVID scheduling, but the mid-season draft importantly. So, Chris, Reese, how are you, Chris?
Yes. Big COVID interruption, and it's affecting all of us. But we've been scheduled to miss a game and then rescheduled to play again. So interesting times.
Reese, how's things?
Yeah, going well. I don't think we've had a weirder sort of 24 hours as Hawks fans knowing what's going on with the Hawks, and that includes the weirdness of last year. But no, glad that the Hawks are on again, and hopefully a better result than on Saturday.
Yep. It's all happening tonight. Thanks for joining us. It is a strange period of time. Us Victorians, we kind of just roll with the punches. I think here it is. Bit of hub life. Glenn, good for you joining us, mate.
Good call.
Could be a new bubble. We don't know. And the Hawks didn't necessarily handle the bubble scenario too well last year, so it'll be interesting. But we've got a mid-season draft pick that could be up for grabs. So I'm going to say it: if we end up, getting the second pick, I'm not kind of going to be too torn about a loss this week.
Yep. Just as long as if Collingwood get a win over Geelong, then we'll be laughing, and there's never a bad reason to go against Geelong. So even though that does mean we have to support Collingwood, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah. Well, tonight we'll look at the Hawks Blues game that was. Let's kick it off, boys. Hawks fans, what did you think? Tell us about this Blues Hawks game. The Howe goal for mine. Cracking at halftime. I got up off the couch because I wasn't at the game this week, but mate, I was up and about, and I was with Shad, Assertive Media, who's a Hawks he's his second team, but he loves the Blues, and so we're having a bit of banter, and geez, that got under his goat, and I was ready to go for the second half, and didn't quite happen. But what did you think?
I was at the game. And unfortunately, I did the halftime beer run.
Oh no, he's missed it.
I've come back. No, I come back watching the last 30 seconds, minute, and I'm like, okay, cool. The siren's gone. That's it. I can't start walking to my aisle, and then hear the roar, and I was like, well, what happened? How did we score? I'm like, I thought Howard kicked it, and we'd missed the mark, and that was it. So I had to go watch the replay. Unfortunately,
it was a little bit of Langford-esque, wasn't it?
It was.
It was a little bit of a different set of circumstances, but yeah, very good.
Yeah, it changed the momentum going into halftime, didn't it?
100%. What did you say, Reese? What did you like?
I actually liked a lot more than I did from the North game, even though it was a bigger loss, because I think what we were crying out for, a response in terms of effort and heart, was there for all four quarters. And we had a comment from Ash before that the effort was great, and we don't have the polish yet. There it is on the screen, and I couldn't agree more. It's we did lack a bit of polish, but I think we put 22 players in Hawks jumpers out there that didn't like what happened against North and tried to do something about it. And although it was disappointing to not get over the line, I think there's quite a bit to take away. And I think number one out of that was the return of James Warple's form. That third quarter, 13 touches, 5 clearances. He was awesome, and maybe there is a future where him, Titch, and Jaeger can work together. That was awesome.
It was sad to see Jaeger going down, but yeah, go on, Chris.
Just interested you called that the number one thing you took away. I was pretty pumped with Ned Reeves' performance.
Yeah, absolutely. We love a debutant. Reeves was awesome, and it has to stay in now. We called for this. Mm-hmm. I'd like to think this was us. We need old and young. McAvoy looked 26 again. It was fantastic.
Do you think they waited for the timing a little bit, just so he didn't have to go up against the monsters, just eased him in against a fewer lighter frame ruckman?
Yeah, it's definitely away they could have gone. He did get 21 hitouts and 3 clearances, Big Ned. So,
or was it calculated? Was it because he was playing against the old nemesis who went over to the Blues, and they both were going toe to toe in Box Hill days?
Yeah, it was good. That was good to see.
Do you know what I liked about Ned's game? He was very good below the knees. It looked like he knows his role. He's got a good football IQ. He was just quick to the hands. He was looking for who to give it to when he got it. Just to see it like that tall, getting down below the knees and pretty clean. I was impressed.
Yeah, and boys, I don't want to freak you out, and I don't want to freak the fans out. We might have found a ruckman that can tackle.
Yes.
I know. That sounds delusional, but we might have. So
big boy splits his head every game going for a tackle, doesn't he?
Well, I think he gets hit more than he tackles, but when you've got a bloke that walks up the race with bandages on, we've got a problem. I think the wide Neves, geez, that's a good combination of his name. Why Reeves didn't stand out is if anyone at home was playing a drinking game for how many times they called him the tallest hawk, they would have missed the second half. It got a bit grating after a while, but definitely need to keep him in. He's got a future for sure.
Thanks, Joel. Sorry, why was Hanrahan dropped? I know we sort of briefly touched on this pre-game, but what are your thoughts there, boys?
I get in trouble for how I talk about Ollie, so I'll let you two boys take it first, and I'll go last.
No, I think it was stiff. He's a player that I don't mind. He's showing promise. He has got a goal sense. I don't think that forward line and where he's probably going to spend a lot of his time is as predictable as we would like. I think he could look better with a different midfield. So, maybe a little bit stiff for mine. But I've also got if I zoom out a little bit and I look at the Hawthorn Football Club preparing this young talent for the future, maybe they're looking to spread games as well amongst those. You don't want to bring a player in for one game and drop him again. Yeah, you've got to be a little bit delicate around the egos, and they're just people at the end of the day, and they're having a red hot crack, and it's stacked up against them at the moment with the way we're playing and some of the opposition that we're facing. So I think he was a little bit stiff.
Yep, I agree. But just quickly looking at the ins and outs, Josh Morris coming in might be part of that reason.
Tank.
Yep. Just thinking like a little bit, and maybe that's what the call is. Maybe he's carrying a little niggling injury or something. But there you go.
One little stat from the team. Look, we got done over it by the end of the game. We had 49 inside 50s to 60 with the Blues, but our efficiency inside 50 was better. We were nearly 45% against 35%. So our defense is still holding up, albeit against Carlton. But you get a few more inside 50s, and I think we make more of a game of that. So, and don't forget, we did have a debutant ruckman who's obviously getting used to the pace of the game and a whole lot of things. So
yeah, we did. And sorry, speaking of people who need a shout out, Damon Greaves' job on Eddie Betts for 3.5 quarters. The first sort of 10 minutes, he was a bit fish out of water. Yep. And then once he sort of went Betts first, footy second, and grew more comfortable, he exploded. It reminded me of how Ben Stratton used to play on Betts back in the day and shut him down. And glad to see Greavesy kept his stays in the side. I'll learn how to talk eventually, guys. That's fine. I'll get there.
I love that. I love that Strats used to have his number like that. If you've got a bunny, Betts was Strats' bunny.
Yeah, so it was fantastic, and it's also good to see. Like you said, we don't want to see guys come in for 1 week and get dropped. So he more than did his job and stuck around, which was good to see. And hope, like you were saying before, Josh Morris comes in. Hope he comes in and he stays in for 2 or 3 weeks to see where he's at. And I think the thing with Ollie, and I swear I'm going to be nice, I promise. And I promise to Ollie, because I do like Ollie. I know I've criticised him in the past, but why our small forwards worked in the premiership years was Cyril was an offensive and defensive weapon. Luke Bruce was an offensive weapon, wasn't known for his tackling, still a good tackler, but wasn't known for it. Whereas Poppy was known for his defensive power that could score. And I don't think Ollie has found his balance yet, but his defensive pressure was good on the weekend. I liked it. So I understand why he's stiff, and fingers crossed Joshy Morris goes well. And if you got a nickname like the Tank, geez, you got a little bit to live up to. So.
And Reece, I think that's just to my point, like the consistent midfield supply or a consistent forward line and knowing that structure and what's going on around you and what to expect. If you've got a defensive small forward, an offensive small forward, and a two-way, forward, small forward, happy days. It's a very different team to play in.
Yeah,
there we go.
I completely agree.
Phillips, 100th this game. I've missed that one.
Yep, I did miss that on. I'll pop it up again for anyone who missed it. Good achievement. He's still young, so let's hope he can keep improving for us.
How have you seen his year, boys? The new recruit got him for peanuts.
I was so happy at the start. He got off to a flyer. He's just plateaued a little bit, but who knows what roles he's been given and what he's been asked to do. So, yeah, I think he can get back to that form he had at the start of the season.
Yeah, I reckon keep him on a wing, and round 1 next year, him and Will Day on the wing sounds pretty exciting. So keep him in; he'll be fine. He covers a lot of ground, so yeah, I don't think we should be too disappointed. He's copped a bit of flack from some fans. So
yeah, he has.
Yeah, congratulations.
Not good, not bad. So he's playing his role. That's all right.
I've been a little bit critical of Flipper. I was expecting more, but I'm seeing he's finding his groove in so many different ways, and I think the age demographic he's in our list, that he's got a lot to offer, and he recognises his role in terms of leadership and joining sort of the younger guys and the older guys, and so I've backed off, and I'm enjoying watching him and just seeing what he can bring, because I think he's just give it another year, into 2022. Who knows what we're going to see from Tom, but yeah.
So just another one of our loyal fans, Barry Jolley. After half-time, Cousins did a good job on Walsh. Only had another 8 disposals. I didn't actually pick up on that. So, well done.
Cuz did well. Do we have to wonder whether part of it was Michael Hartley becoming best friends with Sam Walsh's jaw, or they got acquainted over the weekend? And good to know we've still got dibber-dobbers in our society with someone sitting on level 2.
Yeah,
oh my goodness. Put that phone away, will you? That doesn't help anybody.
That's it. It should be like our pre-game. Everyone's phone goes on silent and stays in your pocket. Good grief. Players used to help each other out in the 80s and 90s, and now we've got fans dobbing in players. This has gone backwards.
Yeah. Goodness look, here's one fella that was
it's a discussion point. Let's talk about it.
Let's go. I think he's had a good crack. He's been quite serviceable. He had a very good crack, obviously, in this game with the elbow, but it's it's a little bit old school. He knows he has to be, for mine, a physical presence, and that was just a slip of that was a brain fade. Give him his time again. No doubt, Hartigan would not have done that. He just doesn't want to. I don't think. I think he's valuing his role. He's fitting quite well, and look, he's just cops his time, and we move on.
Yep, well said.
Yep, I agree. 4 disposals, but let's not forget. But I mean, everyone has the right to be upset for the fact that he's got 3 weeks for hitting Walsh, but he had 4 disposals, and Harry McKay's 2 meters tall, leading the Brownlow, and for 2.5 quarters was invisible.
Yep,
he was just nowhere, and the only time he sort of gave up a goal was the world's worst bounce that led to Pitto kicking a goal against the Grain in the 3rd quarter. So, yeah, I think he was very good, and I think we will notice him not being out there, I think, more than some fans realise. So I hope we can cover him.
Well, Paul Edwards has come back. I won't put the comment up, but he's mentioned that he was against a good talent, and, probably look for a little bit more in terms of his attitude, but the man is a beast. So, that's my summary. Thank you, Paul. Look, I don't know that we were going. Look, boys, any last thoughts on the game versus Carlton? Because I think we move on to the mid-season draft, where some of the fans are very keen.
All I want to reflect on is the effort. The effort against North was just not there, non-existent. The effort against Carlton was there, even though we didn't get the result. So it was a big turnaround, and I was walked away happy, even though we lost. Like, the effort's there.
Yep, and just a quick shout-out to Luke Bruce as well, 3 crumbing goals. I know they were all close to goals, and I think we expect Punky to do these sorts of things every week, but, kick 3, 2 of them was just vintage punky, and 3 goals on the weekend was a good effort. So that's where I'll leave it.
It was nice that you're seeing that still out of him, because he's gone a little bit quiet in some games this season. So it's still letting us know he's still got some in the tank. So, all right, boys, fans, here we go. Mid-season draft. Reece has been all over this, but what I want to start the conversation with tonight is, what do we need in our list? You look at a mid-season draft, and Reece can probably remind us shortly, but they're nominating it for 6 months, 18 months, and we see the odd Newcombe special requests. But look, it's if we think about longer term for our list, a ruckman doesn't mature generally until sort of 24, 25 coming into their own. So you can look at these talls that are showing some talent in the VFL and here and there, but I'm like, for personally, I don't think that's what the Hawks need right now. We do need another tall, but we do need another ruckman. With I think all three, we've got 3 over 30 now, haven't we? As far as the ruck, So for mine, we do need to top up there, but is the mid-season draft the time to do that? I'm not sure. I don't think it is. I think our midfield's a little bit slower. We need some good outs. Sort of outside mids. A mid forward would be ideal, because that small forward, we've probably got a little bit in the mix, but a mid forward would be ideal for mine. But boys, what do you think? And fans, tell us what you think in the comments. We need to sort of feel as our priority. If we've got 1 or 2 picks here, what are we looking for in this midfield draft, mid-season draft?
Well, let me get in first, because I know our man's got all the mail for us. Jackson Callow, hard to pass him up with the form he's been in. Obviously, we trialled him earlier in the season. Let's get that one back down. He's definitely got to be considered, but for me, it is that midfielder. I'd love a bigger-bodied midfielder who is a good kick of the ball, good ball user, and can hit the scoreboard. That's what we need, whether that's available. But like you said, I don't think it's going to be a mid-season draft where we are topping up, because we're not competing for finals. I think we just need to top up and use it basically as a free draft pick looking forward to the future. Go, Reece.
Let's just go to the fans. The fans are throwing in a few thoughts here. Dakota, wow.
Please tell us what you really think, Dakota. Jeepers.
What do we need first? We've got maybe 2 picks. So we've got a few positions on the field more than we can perhaps draft. But look.
Well, let's discuss that. We're looking at potentially 2 picks. That we're not getting it yet, are we? I believe we're waiting for Sicily to put on the long-term injury list, which he's basically declared he's not going to play till next year. So we'll discuss this, I'm guess, based on we're going to have 2 picks. What do you reckon, boys?
I think it makes a lot of sense to go with 2. I think our second pick as it stands would be 14, because Richmond in the last couple of days put someone on their long-term injury list. So I think we would slide then down to 14. So 2 and 14 is what we take in. And if Sicily's basically ruled himself out, why wouldn't we go with 2 picks? Makes the most sense to me. And Sam Edmund from SEN says that it's almost a certainty that we get Collingwood's VFL and Oakley Chargers ruckman Ned Moyle.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy rumours on that one. I haven't personally seen much of him. What can you describe him to the fans out there?
So Ned is ruckman first, and I don't want to call it a problem, but what I think Hawks fans will need to know about this kid, if we do pick him up, is we aren't getting a ruck forward David Hale style. We're getting, and I don't know much about if Ned Reeves can play forward. The Box Hill games that I've seen, he's been ruck first, and we've had good tools at Box Hill. So my worry is, are we going to have 2 of these young ruckmen on our list that are only round the ground ruckmen and don't have a second sort of arrow? Yeah, exactly right. So I understand why we want to go with a ruckman at pick 2, because we're not challenging for a flag this year, as we know. I hope that's not new information to any Hawks fans out there. So we're not going to be getting someone that we expect will play, round 14, round 15 this year. So I think we're looking at it as someone that we can get in for an extra 6 months. We're going to have 3 picks in the top 25 at the end of season draft in November. So I think we'll worry about the midfielders there. If we go in with one pick in this draft, we're definitely going to get someone we can go with. I'm on the Jackson Callow train.
Can I chime into Ned? Yep. So VFL, he's only played a small number of games. So the 3 or 4 games with Collingwood VFL. As far as a ruck forward, you bang on. He's getting 3 kicks a game, 3 marks a game. Yes, 17 hit-outs is great, but it's 11 disposals. And I don't know time that he's playing up forward, but I liked the sound of it initially, and as I thought about it a little bit more with Ned Moyle, I was just like, what do we need straight away? And I recognise we do need more tall timber for the years 2 and 3 from here. But so look, do you cop it in a mid-season draft, or do you look ahead and say who might perhaps sneak through to the end of year draft that we could maybe get a sneaky look at now and nab them? So with a second pick in this mid-season draft, I'm not as keen on Ned, but that's just my view on the list.
Yeah, and I understand that the Hawks, I think pick 2 is not going to be a midfielder. I don't understand why, because if the Hawks are they're probably going to get 3 midfielders in the top 25 picks. It's not a big tall forward draft, especially early days. So we're going to get someone that we can get an extra 6 months in to learn the system and go with that. So I think it does come down to Callow or Moyle. If we get Moyle, I think that's sort of Hawthorn writing off Brooksby, who I didn't think was going to be on the list in 2022 anyway, and potentially Segler. I just don't understand with 42 guys on a list why you'd have 5 ruckmen. So, and if we get Jackson Callow, Mitch Lewis has a contract for next year. Tim O'Brien becomes a free agent, and Emerson Jekka and Cozzy are out of contract. So that would create an interesting dynamic there. But if we get a second pick, which I fully believe we should, I think that's the time we go get a midfielder. And Jai Newcombe is the guy that everyone's talking about, and Sam Mitchell loves him. But there are definitely some other options out there that could slip that the Hawks should have a look at.
Bailey Lambert is one. Yeah, look, let's just go to the fans here for a moment. There's a few different thoughts like firing around here, because this is, look, we're 17th. We really are, if you recognise what's happening here, if we can make some really good picks, and we've got a great track record of sort of, we don't have to get them high. We haven't had the draft picks. We've sort of traded some of those in years gone by, but it'd be interesting to see what we do. I definitely think we need that depth in the midfield, some speed, and that small forward option. But it's an interesting one.
Yeah, go for it.
Billy Gowers, son of Andy, premiership player. I thought he was pretty handy. I don't know that we need the tall forward when you just talked, Reece highlighting. We've got Jekka, who was it? Cozzy coming out of contract.
Yep. And Tim O'Brien becomes a free agent. So
Timmy for mine's now going to start living in the back line.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't surprise me if Hawthorn went at the end of the year. If someone else wants to offer you a deal, feel free to exercise it. That's no disrespect to Timmy, but free agency is a part of the game, and we accept that. So, Bill, I think Billy's leading the VFL for goal kicking, which is a medium forward. He's fantastic. I'm not so sure about the Eminem 2002 bleached hair look he's got going on. Big Bill up there at Southport. That's they breed them differently up there, but I do like them both as players. Nathan Freeman is just the ball can't leave him alone at the moment, but they don't fit the age profile for mine. But they're definitely going to be. I think Freeman especially might be an excellent pickup for a team that's going into the draft looking for midfielders.
All right, the chat's going everywhere. Go on, Chris.
What dictates the contracts they get, Reece? They can either get a 6-month, is it, or an 18-month contract?
Yeah, correct. And when the player nominates, they nominate their preferred contract as well. So if a club, so if they nominate for an 18-month contract and a club picks them up, they have to take them at that 18-month contract. So or renegotiate around it. So
and talking about Newcombe, some sneaky little conditions involved with his nomination?
So you could nominate around other terms, which is, I think, player driven. Oh, sorry, the rules around it. I think, like a lot of clubs, I was sort of scrambling to find good information around it. But from what I know, is that he's got his own terms, which aren't a 6 or 18-month contract, and clubs will have to confirm that they'll take on those terms before he goes there. So if Hawthorn, and I don't know if they have agreed to some terms with him that other clubs won't agree to, then he'll be ours if we want him. But as far as all the logistics go, I'm not 100% across it. My conspiracy theory is that we've done this so no other club takes him, and then if we don't take him, we can take him at the end of year draft.
Reading between the lines, it sounds like that's what the journos are going with, and he's been quite good for Box Hill, so yeah.
And don't get me wrong, this isn't a new thing. Carlton are doing it with one of their players as well, so this isn't a Hawthorn are trying to do something else.
I like it a little bit outside the box. Yeah, well, look, it's cards close to the chest. He's under Sammy's nose. We know what we got in Newcombe. So look, I don't mind it. But just as we wrap up, thoughts? What did Billy?
Nothing what cost him? I watched his career closely, and I was really impressed with him. His mitts are like vices. He just grabs the ball and doesn't drop it very often. And as far as I was concerned, he was a pretty good kick. So. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested personally.
Could fade in and out of games.
That's
big
true.
Billy. Yeah. So
is he in the mold of a Gunston potentially?
No, he's not. No, he's not the height.
He doesn't have the motor though, does he?
No. And he looks like he's enjoying his footy a lot at Southport as well. And I know he's nominated. And if he was 22, I'd more than consider him, but. I don't know exactly how old he is, but I don't think he fits the age demographic at all if we go with that second pick. So that's just my take. If we do get him, I'm not going to, go and riot at Waverley or anything. If he gets a second chance, I'm sure he'll take it with both hands. But if I'm sort of Hawthorn's, spokesperson, which if they're open, I'm more than happy to get involved. But I wouldn't be going with Billy, no, and that's with no disrespect.
Yep. Brad, who didn't join us tonight on the weekend, was watching that game against the Blues, and he just said, "Look, could Cossie be that Gunston replacement?" And I was just like, I started to watch that game in a different light after hearing that. I'm like, as a tall, he does have a motor, and he does get around.
On his bike a lot, yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's got a little bit of merit. So yeah, watch that space, but
Just a little word of advice, Cozzy. Don't play on in the goal square, son. Just go back and kick it. It's okay. Slow down. Take a breath. It's okay, mate. It's fine. They won't take the ball off you. It's all good.
How many times a momentum changer?
How many times do you think he's heard that this week?
Yeah, I think so. But he doesn't need to be eviscerated over it, for crying out loud. It's his 8th game of footy or 9th game of footy or something. My goodness.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. It's okay.
Yeah.
But,
you know what? It was a mistake because he got tackled. But a lot of times you'd get away with that and get the goal without being tackled. So he's only played on because he knew he's outstepped his opponent who was a step behind him. So he was thinking, I'm good. And evidently he was not. So anyway, probably the last time we see him do that.
Let's jump topics, but we'll come back to a few more thoughts on who we should finally choose. But Chris, you had some contact around the wheelchair basketball, dummy football.
Yes, let me get that up. We were contacted by one of our viewers, which our fans. Sorry, a bit delayed here. Contacting us in regards to wheelchair football, which I wasn't aware of. Don't know about you guys out there. There's 5 teams in the comp, and Hawks are one of them. So I'm pretty excited to follow it up a bit closer and share it with you guys. We might even contact him and get him on the show. But from what I've seen, we've had one game against, I think, the Saints. We had a bye. I think there's Richmond, Essendon, and another club. But really, I'll be interested to actually get along to a game, especially if we make finals, because it might be the only success Hawks have this year.
Absolutely. Any silverware that we can get, we are Yeah, more than accustomed to. So if the guys are going well, more than happy to get along. That'd be brilliant.
So I just quickly looked up. So David Ralford plays in Hawthorn's wheelchair AFL team, and maybe I'll just chuck that link up in the feed. So yeah, look, he would open to obviously getting a bit of support. Victoria, obviously, it's changed today, but let's just see what we can do. We've got a great club with a great history and the diversity around the community in the reach into different areas. It's in different sporting codes. It's fantastic. So thank you, Chris. Reese, the Indigenous round. Talk to us.
Yeah, so I don't know about everyone out there, but I absolutely love this. And the Indigenous jerseys that were released over the last few days, most look amazing. And I don't have, unfortunately, the designer's name in front of me, but whoever designed our jumper that made brown and gold look amazing, congratulations. You've absolutely nailed it, and it looks terrific. So my question to the fans is, and blow up that comment section, who's your favourite Indigenous Hawk of all time? We'll give you our thoughts after we get some comments in. So, absolutely. I'm going to love this debate. It's going to be fantastic. So whoever your favourite Indigenous Hawk is, chuck it in the comments and we'll give ours a bit later on, which I'm looking forward to.
And the Hawks as a club talked about this probably with Changa. We're quite Anglo. And the clubs come out and talked about this as far as having Indigenous players on the list and things like that in an area where there was some other clubs that had Indigenous talent, and geez, they are amazing. I think we're so much richer as a club for having so many amazing talents through, and I just love the way they respect each other and pay homage to not just their cultural roots. You know that the role that Shawnee Burgoyne is playing at the moment. I saw Brockman call him, I think, Dad during the week on social media, and it's like I think it's. I'm a father. I think that's quite beautiful that as a club, you can hold on to that and respect that. And I've seen some of the footage that the club did around in Tasmania and Chad and quite a number of the Indigenous current players. Pepper, I think there was maybe 5 or so that did a bit of the marketing team got the video together and told the story, and I think it was great to pay a tribute. So what's the verdict from the fans at this point?
We've got a bit of movement between Cyril's up there, Bateman, and a bit of love for Burgoyne, our boy Burgers. Absolute living legend.
Yeah. There we go. Said it well there, Cody. Buddy is hard as an excitement machine to really go past, and it's an interesting one. I think there's still a lot of affection for Buddy, even though the years have passed. And I like that as a club we can still support some of these boys.
When was the last time you heard? Is it Cam? Was it Cam? Yeah. When was the last time we heard his name? 2011, maybe?
Oh, well, he's made a feature on our show now. Thanks, Nick.
And yeah, that's it. He'll love that. The old Dakota jumper too. 48. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Matty, where are you at on the debate? Who are you riding with as your favourite Hawk?
Go on.
All right. I'm going to... Geez, it's so hard, isn't it?
This is professional flying.
I think it's not premeditated. Yeah. So, all right, let's just have that ting 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 ting. We're just thinking time. I'm going to go with. I think Cyril is my favourite, and just because he just didn't follow convention, and the Indigenous talent generally does not. But Cyril did it in so many ways, and he could influence the game without the possessions, without the touches. And for mine, those few possessions that he did get, the dances he did, the involving players getting on the end of it again and finishing and coming in his debut year, wasn't it? That was his first year. He's got a flag. That just set him on a trajectory. And not to say that he as a talent couldn't have done amazing heights, but, to then continue that, be a 4-time, it's quite incredible and very sad to see him go. But Cyril for mine.
And quite frankly, he was robbed of a Rising Star and an All-Australian that year too.
And he's got a norm in 15, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon, but I was there for Cyril. I think absolutely love what Buddy did, and he was a freak in his own right. But the stuff that Cyril did was special. So can't go past him.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going different, not for the sake of being different, but Chance Bateman's my favourite for a couple of reasons. One, the dreadlocks, boys. Come on. Iconic. Surely they're in the Hawks Museum. Surely.
You were talking about growing some dreads in tribute, weren't you?
I was talking about it, yes. Practically, I don't think it would work quite as well. And that's got cultural appropriation written all over it, so I'm going to stay far away from that. Changa, for the fact that he was the pioneer for the amazing Indigenous culture that we've got at Hawthorn at the moment. We went from, like you said, being quite Anglo to Changa came in. He was the first Hawk, Indigenous Hawk to play 100 games, and also he kicked the first goal for us in the 2008 grand final, and I'll love him for that forever. But I think Clarko's called him the most underrated player who's ever coached, and I think he's underrated by a lot of fans as well. He was an outside wingman who also tagged. There was a story after he retired how he had 14 disposals in the first quarter against St Kilda and ended a game with 18 because he spent the last 3 on Nick Dalsano and kept him to 7.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Dual player. So, my love for Changa lives on, and he was working at West Coast and got let go during COVID, so I hope wherever he is, he's doing well.
I think, and then the work ethic was phenomenal from Chance, wasn't it? He just really... He had the ability to really influence the game. It was like heart and soul moments. He would just really give the team a lift with some of his efforts. So I just thought that was tremendous because you didn't always see that, in terms of a two-way player and probably, started to influence, or a representation of what we like to see in the modern game, two-way players.
Yeah, and I'm not stepping on Xavier Ellis's toes, but his story about how Changa said to X, do you play golf? And he goes, no, mate, I hate it. And he goes, good, you're going to meet me at Riverside at 6 a.m. And they went and played golf. They went and played golf together. And X, as we know, wasn't one for mornings. So that started a friendship, lifelong friendship there. And things like that, just stories like that, just make us fans just love players even more. So love you, Changa.
Yep, well said. Excellent. All right, well, let's quickly just touch on the Hawks Suns game Saturday now at the SCG. Mm-hmm. So those that may have been disappointed with the opportunity to celebrate in Darwin, and we have a great following in Darwin, the Hawks. Thank you, Sean Burgoyne, born up there. Cyril Rioli obviously played a big part in influencing the community up there and getting a good Hawks supporter base. But we're off to the SCG. So, boys, fans, what are you thinking? Hawks versus Suns. What do we need to see this week to be competitive? And actually, before we start, this could potentially influence the position if, I think you looked it up, Race. What was it? 1 point. If the Hawks win by 1 point, the Pies have to lose by 238.
Collingwood needs to. No, we're on the same amount of points. So Collingwood need to lose by about 200 more points than we do. So I think pick 2 is in our grasp, but I don't think Collingwood would. If Moyle is the player that we go after, just to touch on it one more time, I don't see why Collingwood take him. I know he's in their VFL side, but I think they've got more problems than Grundy, Cameron, and Cox as sort of their depth chart of ruckman. So having picked, if Moyle is our guy, I think pick 3 wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So
that's the difference to catch up percentage wise for us to change position on the ladder to go up a spot because we're on equal win-loss points. So, all right, there it is. That sets the scene. Hawks Suns, what do you want to see, fans? Chris, start us off.
All right, we've got Burgoyne in, Morris in, Shields in. Out O'Meara concussion rule, obviously. We weren't going to lose him due to having a bye, which was no longer happening. Hartigan suspended and Hanrahan dropped. So, good to have Burgers back in there, bit of experience. Don't know who's going to be the emergency at this stage, but Suns have been a bit ordinary, both playing away from home. As long as we just put out that same performance we did last week against Carlton, I don't know. I just, as much as I love to win, like you said, it may not dictate who we pick or if we miss out on someone, if we do get above Collingwood on the ladder. But I just want to keep seeing that improvement in the young blokes, and just Josh Morris just come out and kick a few goals. That'd be great.
What a time for Ned Reeves to dominate, considering I think the Suns are playing an under-17s kid as their ruckman. I don't even think they've got one at the moment. So, Zach Smith came back last week, but I think Big Ned will go well. They're expecting rain in Sydney on Saturday, so that might change things there. They don't play well in the wet. They can't play in the dew at their own home ground at the moment, the Suns. So I think, it's weird as a Hawthorn fan to go, if it rains, we might look all right, considering we dominated sort of foot skills in the last few years. But the Suns are going ordinary, and I mean, we are as well. So I'm under no illusions that this might be a smacking, but I think this is definitely a game that we could go to Sydney and potentially be a reason why the Suns doubt if our man Stewie Dew is their man. I'm quietly confident. And again, I said it last week that it's starting to feel like a toxic relationship, that it's going from bad and hoping it's good again. But I don't see, unless Ben King sort of kicks 8 and Hugh Greenwood has about 40 tackles and 40 touches, I don't really see how they can beat us.
Yeah.
Well, look, they've just been touched up very decently, the Suns. So Geelong 91 to 57 at Geelong's home ground, and then the week prior, Brisbane Lions 124 to 51. For mine, they're not coming in strong right now, and I think that ruck influence. I'm keen to see Cousins and Reeves, who've had a really good chemistry at VFL level, just continue, persevere with it. Let's just see, give that more game time, that chemistry that they've had. Let's see what we can do on an AFL level. And look, the clearance for mine has been an area we've struggled in this year. So play with that. Jager's out. Someone commented, Warple, on get his chance to rise. So if clearance-wise, that's an area we can dominate and get a bit of confidence. Fantastic. So for mine, look, we'll come back to it right at the end. But your thoughts on the margin, fans? Chuck it in the comments. Who do you see winning this? How much? Let's go to you, Chris.
All right. I hadn't really given it much thought because I didn't even know we were playing them until a couple of hours ago. But based on just that little chat there, I think we'll potentially win this one. I don't think it's going to be a huge margin. Like you said, they've had a couple of low scores the last couple of weeks, and we're struggling to kick 100. But Hawks by 17. All
right, fans. So we're getting a few in. Reese, what do you think?
I love Brett's optimism there. Hawks by 33. That'd go really well. I think due to everyone in the footy media, from experts to non-experts, thinking this game's going to be a bore fest of sort of two teams that are struggling a bit going up against each other, this could actually be a really good game of footy, especially if it stays dry. I think this might be a sneaky good one. But I think 40 points, 21. I'm loving this optimism from the Hawks fans. This is what we need. Absolutely. But I think we're going to get up. I'll go high. Why not? 26.
All right.
I've got a feeling. I think our smalls, big Joshy Morris, the tank, he's going to kick a couple, and Punky will kick 6, and we'll go well.
Very good. Look, I'm not too far off the turret here, but I'm going to not sit on the fence and get splinters and give a margin. Come on. Turret. So I'm calling you 15, but I'm going to say the Hawks by 12. So, all right. There we go. Barry Jolley's on the wagon. That's official. So, all right, it's not going to cost us a spot in the mid-season. So let's get back to the mid-season draft conversation. Reece, give us a lowdown. You've been studying this like a madman. You've hardly slept for 2 weeks. Tell us. Because fans, we're going to come back Sunday night. We're going to have a really good look at this because after the Saturday game versus Gold Coast, we will know exactly where we stand and we're going to dig right in. So, Reece, give us the lowdown. Give us a taster. What do you think?
Okay, so given the Hawks, I believe, are going to go in with 2 picks, and at this stage, that looks like 2 and 14. I think I'm not going to go against Sam Edmund. I think we take Moyle. I think it's definitely down to Moyle or Callow. So we are going to get a tall with that first pick. And given that we're going a tall with our first pick, we've got to go small. And like you guys, I think we've got to go midfielder. So it's up to the Hawks to decide what kind of midfielder they want. I think we've got enough inside mids. I think Mitchell and Warple have struggled at times to find their balance. So I don't think a third inside mid is going to help us that way. So we're looking for guys that can get it done on the outside. I like Bailey Lambert as a pick. I don't think he gets to 14, unfortunately.
That's a shame because he's son of Craig.
ESPN
Tiger and Lion, former great. But 11 goals in 4 games, 15 disposals. I'm like, could you just get him? Could you just sneak him in? Because I think we need that more than we need at all. But anyway.
Well, he's not that far from Frankston. So if someone wants to drive down and get him, that'd be good. And just keep him away would be nice. But it would be handy. But yeah, for that pick 14 spot, there's a couple of guys. There's a guy in the sample, Amon Wilkinson, who is a tackling machine up forward. I know we've got sort of some small forwards who haven't grabbed that spot and made it their own yet. But this guy was the youngest player in the sample team of the year last year. He's leading the tackle count inside 50 and on track to break the Sandful record. And he kicks goals.
We need
so we do. The other one that I'm really keen on now, I am not a big punter at all. I don't bet anything over $5 because, as some people have told me, I'm a bit of a tight ass. But $5 it is. So at the start of the year, I had $5 on Tom Green to win the Rising Star from GWS. And now that Matt Rowe's gone down, that looks a real chance too, by the way, if I can just promote myself. But he's got a younger brother, Josh, who not the Josh Green that used to play at Brisbane and Essendon, the redhead either. This kid's 18 years old. He's playing in the NAB league at the moment. He's tall, same as Tom. He had 27 on the weekend and kicked 2, and they're calling him a contested bull who can kick the ball inside 50. Yep, I'm sold.
Yeah, give me that, please.
And if he is like 50% of what Tom is now, Tom's been in the system for a couple of years, that would be a building block that would be fantastic to go to. And I'm a big fan. He's the one for me that if he's there at 13, I think we take him. And, of course, we've been in talks with John Newcombe.
But I don't mind this. This is good. That's sort of a smoke screen with Newcombe. We've got some space, haven't we, to look at the end of season draft versus who you might, if we can nab someone like that, Reece. Phenomenal. Yeah. But we've got an option there with Newcombe now.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't underestimate the picks that we take from this draft will affect how we go at the end of year draft as well. So if we do grab a tall and a small with 2 picks, we might, like if we take the forward type of a Lambert or a Wilkinson, for example, if we go with a forward, that probably tells us that the 3 picks in November are definitely going to be midfielders. Or potentially a key back if we want to go down that road. That'll be a conversation for another day. If we do go with a Bailey Lambert or a Tyrone Thorne, who's playing for Peel in the Waffle, this kid can play forward and kick snags. He can go in the midfield. 2 or 3 weeks ago, because they all had a bye, he had 29 playing in the midfield and kicked a goal. And then he played forward 80% of 2 weeks ago and kicked 3. So
Solid.
Dual weapon there, and he'll go in the top sort of half dozen, depending on which club need that sort of player the most. But if we do go down that road at sort of pick 2, then I think we'd be targeting a tall at the end of year draft. So that's going to be really interesting. But a few names there to keep an eye on, I think.
Brilliant.
Nice teaser, mate. Well done.
Yep. Look, there you go, fans. Look, we will have a really good look Sunday night. We're going to go right into it and say what we absolutely do think we need, where it's all landing. If you're looking at injuries, you're looking at end of season drafts, you're looking at form for those, not just in the VFL, in the other leagues. We're looking at what we need in the years to come. So bring your best on Sunday night. Join us. Reese, thank you for your insights there tonight. I'm pumped about the Suns Hawks game now that it's going on. Sad that we didn't almost miss it and get into the mid-season bye and into the draft, and Jake got to play and not miss a game, but all good. Let's get into it. Let's get a win. And gentlemen, thank you for tonight.
Cheers, mate. Good talk.
Thank you.
I'm not going to cut you off like Brad does. Fans, thanks for joining us. And we will catch you all. Leave it in the comments. Who do we need in the mid-season draft? Tag a mate that needs to hear all about it and knows what they're on about, and or even if they don't and they're off their tree, that's fine. We want to know who they think we need going into the mid-season draft. So thanks, fans, for joining us. We'll catch you on Sunday night.
Cheers, guys. Go Hawks.
Thanks, guys. Go Hawks.